Welcome to the first edition of Bison Insider. I'm your host, Mr. John McLemore. Today I'm joined by a very special guest who hails all the way from the great state of Michigan. Please help me welcome Mr. Daniel Budson. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So let's start with some easy questions for you. Since we already know your name, what's your position title at the Burdick Job Corps Center?
So I am the director of programs, overseeing all the training elements on center, then also currently the acting center director.
The acting center director. What happened to our last center director?
He took a job in his home state, so he's back in Kansas City doing big things.
Well, welcome to your new gig then.
Yeah, the new old gig. Happy to happy to help out.
So, how long have you been working at Burdick?
I have been at Burdick for almost 7 years. So I got to North Dakota April 9th of 13 and started working at Burdick July 17th, 2013 for Mr. Perry in the Rec.
So you actually answered my next question, which was going to be, what was your very first position? You just said rec specialist.
Yeah, so very first position was rec specialist. With Mr. Perry, he was my supervisor. He hired me on, interviewed with him and Dave Turnbull, and didn't think I was going to start right away. And he was like, "You want to get some hours in?" I said, "Yep," and then been here ever since.
So is there anything that you miss about that position, or are you happy with right where you're at?
Yeah, man, the rec was awesome. There's tons I miss about that position. Got to exercise every day. Definitely a different relationship with the students. Got to see them way more often. Was in better shape. Was probably about 20 pounds lighter in the rec. So yeah, man, tons I miss about the rec. Absolutely.
Well, let's get into some little bit harder questions now. Since we've all been in self-isolation and all the students have been returned to their homes, have you binge watched any shows lately, or have you started a new series that you're just not quite through with?
I, along with I think the rest of America, I'm not too proud. I've binge watched The Tiger King, of course, and that's probably been it, man. I've been trying to watch some documentaries, watched old sporting events to try to get my sports fix. But now the binge watching was really Tiger King, and that was probably about it.
That's a little sad. I can honestly say I've only seen one episode. So.
Oh man, let me tell you, you're missing out.
So, have you picked up any new hobbies, or maybe perfected an old one?
Not really. I pulled the guitar out for the first time in a couple of years, trying to get my bearings back. So the plan is, depending on how long this thing goes, to try to get on there at least once a day for the next couple of weeks. Try to get back what little skills I had, and then eventually we'll get better and improve.
Well, this coronavirus has kind of taken a weird toll on our food situation. So have you cooked anything new or tried something that you wouldn't normally try?
No, I don't think so. The one thing that we did do to get kind of wild, we had kind of a family day yesterday, and everybody had to make their own barbecue sauce. So some ingredients got pretty wild. There's some pickle juice in there. So I'll say my food experimentation, the furthest it's got has been getting wild with homemade barbecue sauce.
So no pink confetti or anything that strange, right?
No, nothing wild.
Okay. Barbecue sauce is really hard to mess up. So you can usually do a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a time that you conquered a fear?
About a time I conquered a fear. I'm struggling a bit on this one. I don't know. This is embarrassing. When I was younger, I was more afraid of heights, and so I wasn't a big roller coaster guy. Like I didn't like. I lived not very far from Cedar Point, and we would go, and I wouldn't really be all about the rides. And then I just kind of psyched myself out, I guess. So I was a little bit scared of those, and then I guess I don't know when I conquered it, but at some point I became a roller coaster junkie, and I don't. There wasn't like a defining oh my god moment where I love it, but that's when I overcame. Couldn't give you a good story about when, but
So there was,
that's one.
so there wasn't like a moment when your father looks at you and says, "I'll give you $10 to go on this roller coaster."
No, and I don't know what it was. I think honestly it was probably something dumb where I was like, they check this stuff. Like scientists build this and this inspect. Like, what are you worried about? Stop being a pansy. And then I just did it. I guess I don't know.
The only reason why I asked about the $10, that was my deal with my dad. Every
Hmm.
roller coaster I rode was $10. That's how I got over my fear of roller coasters.
I played it wrong then, man. I could have been making some money.
Um, who's your favorite superhero and why?
My favorite superhero is I don't know if he's so much a superhero, but he's a mutant, and that would be Gambit from the X-Men. I don't know why he's my favorite, but it's been that way since I was a kid. I don't know if it's the Cajun background, slinging the cards. I don't know, but I've always just been a big fan of Gambit. Named my dog after him as well. Uh, then I also like the quick wit and the sarcasm of both Deadpool and Iron Man. Uh, Wolverine, obviously. Um, yeah, I'm going Gambit. That's my guy. I'll go like under the radar a little bit.
Okay. So hypothetically speaking, this next question is hypothetical.
Mhm.
Your house is on fire again. I mean, excuse me. Your house is on fire. Your house contains everything that you own. Your loved ones, your pets, they're all safe. They're secure. They're not in the house. Nothing to worry about there. You have time to save one item. What would it be and why?
uh, so first, I'm gonna give some background. So when I was center director the first time, we had this very important brief out. Corporate office came in and they wanted to talk to everybody, and I was like, I can't make it. Like, what lame duck excuse do you have? And I was like, well, my house caught on fire, and it did. Not the whole thing, a little section, but it was quite the morning. A candle got left out, and that was actually the second time in my life because when I was like 8, my sister at my house in Michigan, my little sister was playing with the lighter, and that time our whole house did catch fire. So it's happened. To
Yeah.
answer the question though, probably either um, I have a nice collection of jerseys downstairs in the basement of the man cave, I guess, and probably grab those. There's most of the photos that we have now are digital. They're backed up somewhere, so it's not like anything like that sentimental. That I wouldn't be able to recover any in a different way. So it'd probably be jerseys, this jersey collection.
I was kind of expecting that as an answer from you, to be honest. I was expecting
Yeah,
more like an autographed Detroit Lions jersey or something, but
yeah. There's the collection. Not a whole lot of autographs, but a lot of things with a little sentimental value that I've collected along the way. So probably those.
gotcha. What's your greatest accomplishment in life?
Greatest accomplishment in life. Hmm. This is tough. I feel like I'm at a job interview right now. I can give a cop out answer and a legitimate one. So the cop out answer, which is really true, is probably just being good at personal relationships. I have a lot of family, my friends, and my children that I feel like I do a really good job of maintaining those relationships and strengthening those. Um, so that's the cop out slash true answer. The backup answer that I'll give is just um, work wise, working my way up from the rec to CD over not a long period of time, but over time. And it was some challenging times in there, and the perseverance it took to deal with some of the crap that went on, and to just work hard and learn new things and constantly get better. That kind of a long term achievement. That's something I'm proud of.
Okay. Very good answers. So is there one thing you miss most while being in self-isolation?
Yeah. So I was so upset about this one. So every year, uh, the old weekend warrior type folks who play basketball still, uh, there's a state tournament that goes on every year. This year it was back in Bismarck for the first time in a couple of years. And what we do is go down there, always stay at the Ramcota with a big old water park inside. Everybody brings their kids. And so you get down there Friday night, you play a game. Friday night, all the kids are in the pool and the whole team's hanging out. Go get dinner together. Saturday morning, you wake up early, play a bunch of games. Saturday night, same thing, just a big family and friends type atmosphere. And it's a blast. It's the most fun thing ever. It was finally back in Bismarck. This may or may not be my last year playing with this team. And that was supposed to be March 26th, and it got canceled. And so that sucks. And so the biggest thing is probably playing basketball with friends and missing that tournament. But now the further we go, it's like you miss the most ridiculous stuff. Like I miss going to the grocery store and not feeling gross. I miss sitting down in restaurants. I miss getting fast food from Taco Bell and not like looking at them funny. Like, did you wash your hands before you handed it to me? Yeah. So the further this goes on, the more ridiculous the list of things that I miss gets.
That's well, you might miss a barber as well. You're getting a little shaggy there.
You know, we look. I meant to mention that during hobbies. I haven't picked that up yet, but that might be a hobby that I have to pick up is barbering, because this is out of control. The headphones are actually keeping it relatively tame. That's why they're on right now.
Well, some of us have learned a long time ago how to just cut our own hair. Obviously, I don't have much to start with, but I haven't paid for a haircut in several years, so that's one of those things you got to learn one day.
Yeah, I might have to, and I really could cut my own hair when it was man bun stage. So maybe I just, depending on how long this thing goes, maybe that comes back.
Before we get into some weeds there with that one, let's we have a few more minutes here, just a few more minutes of time. Just a couple of last questions remain. These are a little bit more serious, a little bit more geared towards what's going on right now and what we're about to kick off. So what's one thing that you hope all the student employees will remember during the distance learning phase of Job Corps?
Two things. One, embrace the struggle. I say that a lot during CPP breakfast, and just want to talk to students throughout. Embrace it. Like the what I always remember is the times when life was the most in flux, or it was the most, I don't want to say difficult, because there's always some sort of like kind of safeguard, but the times when things were going rough, those are the times you tend to remember most fondly later on, like once you pull yourself out of it. So embrace it, and just embrace the grind that comes with the struggle, and just bust your butt to make the most of it. And the other thing to remember is, this is still training, right? You still have a chance to progress in trade, progress in high school, like get it done. Like you have an opportunity now to do it kind of on your own terms. And so instead of looking at this as a negative or as a challenge, within that challenge is always opportunity. So take advantage of the opportunity that's there. And so you do the little things that you would have done normally anyways, instead of showing up to class 5 minutes early, now you're signing in 5 minutes early to make sure you take care of everything. And just embrace it, man. Make the most of the situation. And, if you are willing to do the little things that other people are not willing to do, you're going to come out of it so much further ahead. So, yeah, just take advantage of it. And this is probably how things are going to wind up going in the future, right? There's going to be a lot of teleworking, a lot of telecommunication, almost regardless of field. So get used to it. Like I said, just dive into it and embrace the struggle and learn as much as you can.
Okay. So any final words or any words of encouragement or final thoughts that you want to download into the hearts and minds of our students today?
Repeating the same thing, man. Embrace the grind. Like, it's a challenge, but within every challenge is an opportunity. And so whatever you get out of this is what you put in. So just get in there and like bust your ass, ask questions, and make the most of it.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. The inner workings of this Michigan man. Maybe that's a new superhero name. I don't know. Will it stick? Probably not.
Well, we'll see.
Tune in next week when we're going to have another special guest on the Bison Insider. And just one final thought before everybody leaves and goes about their week. What did the father buffalo say to his boy when he left for college?
Bye, son.
Bye, son.